Hello, it's Sadie. I am working with a new tripod, so bear with me here. I'm like kind of looking off at the distance. It's a little weird. I'm getting used to it. Bear with me. I wanted to come on and do this video because I think it's a really, really important topic that is not really discussed a lot. This is spiritual wellness and spiritual burnout. What brought this to me was, I know Melissa, her therapist channel, she posted a community message last week basically stating something like to the effect of taking some time off for spiritual maintenance, taking some time off for spiritual wellness. And it's so important for people to know that not only can you, but you should. You should take a break, even from learning and growing spiritually. There's times where you really just need to take a step back from all of it. I'm seeing this right now too with other spiritual teachers and readers, and people burning out, people getting really tired, really emotional. And it's because sometimes, especially right now with all the astrological changes, with all the solar flares, with all the portals and gateways and all the energy that we're all dealing with constantly, as we're being bombarded with light, it is so important to take a break, to rest. And when I say take a break and rest, I really specifically mean like social media, readings, all of it. Like sometimes you just need to take a step back. Sometimes it's more information is just bringing in more confusion. It's that expression, less is more. And so here is always my barometer for readings and spiritual videos. If you are listening to readings in a balanced way where you're not trying to make everything fit into your story, but you're getting information that's insightful, that's helpful, that gives you clarity, that gives you empowerment to make decisions, that helps you to maybe see from a different or larger perspective than you had considered. Those are all positive things. And that's how, spiritual tools and readings and spiritual videos should be used. If, however, you are almost using them to bypass doing the work that you need to do, if you're using them to constantly seek validation and confirmation of your own guidance or of your own story, if you are in a situation where you're listening to readings and you're watching spiritual videos and you're actually feeling more confused, more upset, more angry, that is a clear sign that you need to take a step back. You need a spiritual detox, a YouTube detox, a social media detox. Sometimes less is more. And I'm doing this because I'm seeing this not just for myself personally, but for people I know who are readers and healers, people who I know get readings and healings, where people are saying it often, like, I really need a break. I really think I need, a YouTube detox. I was talking to somebody about that this week. If you're feeling that way, that is your guidance that it's time to take a break. It's time to take a step back. And, I'm saying that as a person with a channel and as a person who is a channeler and who is a reader. But even myself, like, I remember, like right now, for instance, I love tarot. I love tarot readers. I love to support tarot readers. But I've kind of gone through this thing recently where over the past month or so many of the readings that I'm hearing are not really resonating with me. And so I've taken just a natural kind of step back from readings, and I've been listening to more light language and more meditation just to kind of just keep my energy clear and cool and balanced. My capacity for readings right now, I think part of this is because I'm doing a lot of personal readings lately, is just I don't want so much information overload. It's like it's almost too much. So I really haven't been watching a lot of YouTube readings. You know, if a title sticks out to me, or if something, you know, I'll start a reading, and if something really resonates with me, I'll listen. But a lot of times I'm starting stuff and I'm finding it's not resonating within the first minute or two, and then I'm having to click off. Like, that is okay. That is spiritual wellness tip. Okay. It's a wellness tip for me as someone who is highly clairvoyant, clairsentient, claircognizant, clairaudient, who's always kind of consuming information, and my psychic antenna is always on, where it's a good boundary for me to not overconsume, to not overindulge. So if you find yourself needing to take a step back, even from my readings, if that's what helps you to get more clarity on your situation, do it. Because sometimes I'll pick up in the readings that I do for certain people, not for everyone, but this energy of agitation, or this energy of wanting me to make the choice for them. And that is not what I am here for. I'm here to help to support you on your journey. Remember, one size does not fit all. A choice that I would make if I were in your circumstances and situation may not be the choice that you will make or should make. And even though I can give you guidance, I can do readings, I can channel energy, ultimately it's up to you to be accountable for your choices in your life. And it's also important for your own empowerment for you to learn to trust yourself and to trust your own guidance and instincts as to what works best for you in your life as well. So again, if you're feeling like readings are stressing you out, they're not bringing you comfort, they're making you more agitated, you're feeling that kind of, heaviness, or it's kind of throwing you into an emotional spiral, that is a sign that it is time to withdraw from everybody else's energy and go within and just listen to your own inner voice. Because sometimes you have those overstimulations and information overloads in the external world that's basically kind of putting you in a position where your guides are like, hey, we need your attention and you're not paying attention to us. So we're going to make everything so intense that it forces you to go hermit mode. It first forces you to look within and stop looking outside yourself. And sometimes that is the only time that you can actually hear your guidance in a clear and concise way. And so it's really important to have those times, have those moments where if you're watching a lot of readings, if you're watching and consuming a lot of spiritual material and you're starting to feel confused and you're starting to feel almost burnt out by it, stop. Stop. It doesn't mean you're not growing. It doesn't mean you're not healing. You have to give yourself time to integrate in what you're learning as well. It's kind of like school in that sense, where you'll read a book and you'll read the chapters and the information, but there is this time of assimilation where it really needs to integrate in so you truly understand it. And you can't do that if you're always reading and always consuming and always going to the next thing and always seeking external validation. Like, you actually have to take a step back and reflect upon everything, and understand that too, as you're growing spiritually, you're always evolving, you're always expanding. What worked for you, say earlier on in your journey, a ton of readings and a ton of information, and just in that space where you're over consuming, was really helpful for you. But that doesn't mean it's always going to be really helpful for you. Sometimes too much actually hinders you on your path. I went through this was back in 2018. I was just always like taking classes. I learned so many different modalities. I was doing SRT. I was doing Reiki all the time. I was doing so many different things. I was reading so many spiritual texts. I was listening to so many readings. And I had like this time, this period where I expanded and opened so much, but it was like too much. Like, I almost went through like a spiritual psychosis for a short period of time. And my guidance at that time was like to just stop doing everything. Like, stop meditating, stop doing tarot, stop everything. And I did for like a 2-week period. And thank God I did, because again, I think I was heading to a like spiritual psychosis point where you actually have a mental breakdown, where you actually have a breakdown because it's too much too soon. And I know that taking a break and having that time to just not do anything, not meditate, really ground my energy by just, maybe focusing on light exercise, but not taking any classes, not doing any readings, any of that, like really, really helped me. And it helped me learn like what my limits are, what my balance is, what my equilibrium is as a reader, as a practitioner. Again, I'm not really doing Reiki at the time, but I was doing a ton of Reiki then. And I wasn't really grounding and protecting my energy enough. So I was taking on so much at that time. And it was not balanced and it was not healthy. So I just wanted to share that, just because, it is a real thing. Spiritual burnout, spiritual psychosis, it is a real thing. And the way to not go to extremes where you're dealing with spiritual psychosis and spiritual burnout is to know your limits, to set energetic boundaries for yourself, and to take a break, take a rest. If you notice, like, I've still been doing readings on the channel, but it's just not as much content. I'm not pushing out as much content, again, because I know my limits, I know my boundaries, because I've been doing personal readings for people. I haven't wanted to do as many, longer videos on the channel. And that's what works for me. I know where my equilibrium is. It's always changing because we're always evolving, we're always growing, but I know where I'm at right now, here now, today, as I'm making this video, and that's important. And it's important for you, wherever you were at on your journey, whether you have been in this path for a very long time or whether you are just newly awakening. It's important for you to know where you're at, to know your boundaries, to know your limits. And so I highly recommend, for those of you who are feeling burnt out, who are feeling that kind of like too full feeling, when you eat a ton of food and it's so good and you're so happy to eat it, but then afterwards you're just like, I'm sick. You want to be sick to your stomach, right? If you feel like you're getting that way with readings, with spiritual content, you're not stopping your spiritual path by not watching videos or not reading books. Sometimes the best way to balance and integrate is to go back and focus on your real world, everyday stuff, your family, your pets, the things that make you happy, exercise, just sitting outside in nature and grounding. It's just such an important thing right now. Because I think a lot of times when people get to that burnout space and when they go into spiritual psychosis, that's what kind of like really throws them off and really brings in a lot of confusion on their path. And if you were to just know that like Rome wasn't built in a day. I hate that expression, but it's a true expression. It's like, you don't ascend all at once. I mean, very few people do. I know Eckhart Tolle did. I know there's a couple others like the Buddha who was sitting by a tree and meditating, and then all of a sudden it just clicked for him. But that is not most people's soul contract. That is not most people's path. Most of us, we're going to go through different experiences. We're going to go up that ladder of ascension. You're going to take 3 steps forward and sometimes 5 steps back and then 10 steps forward and 2 steps back. There is an ebb and flow. There is an integration period. And so just be really mindful of that. Be really gentle with yourself. Part of discernment too is knowing when it's too much, when, there is such a thing as too much of a good thing. There really is. You can overindulge, you can overconsume to your detriment. And so coming into discernment is knowing like, maybe I don't need a reading this week. Maybe I don't need to watch so many videos. This is especially true for those of you who are on the twin flame journey. Because it can become part of the obsession, and part of the longing is the constant content of videos and the constant content of messages regarding your twin, regarding your person, that brings in this like very confusing energy, or brings in this very like, where you start to doubt, where you start to question, where you start to really feel like you're an idiot or you're delusional, or, sometimes that comes just because you are consuming and absorbing too much energy and readings that actually were not for you and may not have resonated with your story, but you tried to make them fit. Okay? So I'm saying this from a place of love. I'm saying this from a place of, I have been there and you don't have to go over the edge. This whole thing is about learning to be as authentic as possible to your heart, to your soul, and just maintaining a balance in all of those things. And if you can do that for yourself, that is the key. That is the work. That is the lesson, for all of us. There's going to be times where you can consume more, and there's going to be times where you should consume less. And so just be mindful and be aware of where you are at energetically at all times. When we are really vibing high, our capacity is, but when we're purging and healing and deep in it, our capacity is lower. We're more cocooned. We're more in that space where we kind of need less stimulation. And so if you find yourself in that space, give yourself grace, give yourself peace, give yourself rest, let yourself detox, even if it's for a week. Like a week of like no social media, a week of not constantly scrolling, a week of not having constant stimulation can do wonders for your mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical health. Because too much information too can create stress in the body. It's like it's just too much. And the thing as well is that the subconscious mind, it works as a computer hard drive. So everything that you see, everything that comes into your energy field that you connect with, everything that you watch, everything that you hear, whether you believe it's true or not, your subconscious mind stores it in the hard drive that is the subconscious mind, and it believes that it's true. It's the cognitive abilities that can decipher truth from, what's false, from fact and fiction. It's those cognitive abilities that do that. But if you're over consuming and just getting in a ton of information, and a lot of it is not accurate for you and for your path, that's embedded into your consciousness, and energetically it's in your vibrational field, which means you're manifesting from that space. So for some of you too, you could have this detox where you're not watching as many videos and you're not watching as many readings and all that stuff, and then start to see your manifestations really take off because you're not getting contradictory information in to distort the energy that is bringing you into alignment with your manifestation and with your dreams and goals as well. So just food for thought. I wanted to make this video. I'm going to start doing a little series like this, spiritual wellness tips, because it's important. It's important. We all have to maintain wellness. Even on our spiritual journey, it's so important to maintain wellness, to maintain balance, to maintain being centered within, to maintain your equilibrium. And sometimes the best way to do that is just to turn off the phone, turn off the TV, deactivate the account for a little bit and just take a step back and listen to your own inner voice and your own inner guidance. All right, I'm sending you my love. I hope this message helped whoever needed to hear it. Take care.